Our gallery doors are open. Our students, visitors, university friends have the opportunity to engage in the very private and highly personalized act of simply looking at pictures, perhaps symbolically engaging with strangers and their stories.
I think without the museum here, the college would lack a fundamental and an essential component in what a higher education must be.
Jule Collins Smith Museum of Fine Art, a welcoming reflection of our rich history and our bright future. We honor our founders and leaders whose passions have provided for us a shared legacy. Among them, Dr. Taylor Littleton, scholar and poet; Dwight Carlisle, CEO and collector; Albert Smith and Jule Collins Smith. Thank you for your love for one another, the arts, and Auburn.
The idea of a museum for Auburn was a very dim possibility, and for years the Foyer Union, which was a very crowded building, was about the only venue for faculty exhibitions, and almost impossible to bring even a small traveling exhibition to Auburn. It just seemed to me that, especially after the fine arts moved into their rather nice facilities, that the culture of the campus is simply not complete without a place to show that dimension of the fine arts.
Before there was a museum, there was a love story. This story takes us to 1948. Auburn was known as API. She was Jule Collins then, a freshman co-ed who took the train home on weekends to Lounsborough to study. And when she paid her 50-cent fare to come back Sundays, Albert Smith was there waiting.
I'd meet the train and we'd go over to the dollhouse and get a hamburger steak. And that was Sunday night supper. And we'd sit there and talk for about an hour. And that was the way we courted. Things were a little different in Auburn, and it was not quite as hectic. We had our 50th anniversary coming up, and Bill Muse, who was president of Auburn, put Jule and me on a committee for the art museum. And I called Bill Muse. We drew up an agreement with the university, and I said, I want to keep it a secret from Jule. He said, okay, we can handle that. I thought to myself, I can't be going back and forth to Auburn and not tell Jule what I'm up to. So I went in the office and sat her down and told her what I was doing. And she nearly fell out of her chair.
The dollhouse is no more, but the love story continues. A lasting tribute for a 50th anniversary wedding gift, but also a gift for Auburn, both the university and community.
The main thing they say that pleases Albert and me the most is how much it has meant to the community, how wonderful it's been for Auburn and the surrounding area, because there's nothing like that in this area. Montgomery and Birmingham would be the closest museums, but they say nothing can compare. The interest is throughout the region.
It gives Auburn a presence that people heretofore have not appreciated. Not just architecturally, but building itself doesn't look like the 1800s. It's like a new beginning for the campus.
The idea of a museum, I think, really took a certain step forward when our friends at the Montgomery Museum mounted an exhibition featuring the advancing American art paintings. I think that visibility that brought people like Jule and Albert Smith into the list, as it were, and their connection with others really began to get the kind of funds that were necessary.
I reflect back on Dwight telling me that he once, I guess in his position as advisory chair, worked out of a trailer on the site here. And I would suspect that that motivated him, being in a place that was just temporary and that he knew he had to build his way out of. He was the CEO to do it. Going into college, he was a work-study student at Auburn, a co-op student who also commuted from Alexander City. So he is, in many ways, a self-made man, and he, I think, found Auburn to be so important to him that he always wanted to give back, and I think that's what his motivation is now in serving the way he has served this college. He is a great believer in details, and I've heard him say, if you focus on the details, the big picture will work itself out. Just as an effective CEO in industry, attention to detail is something he brings to bear on the arts. He's an admirer of the Belleek porcelains, in large part, I think, because of the details. And having an intellectual curiosity and a historical perspective about the arts motivates his wanting to share that knowledge and that information. I see your motto of art changes lives. I think Dwight is a very good example of how the arts have broadened him and brought him to understand a lot of things a lot better.
It's somewhat hard to define that experience in the kind of concrete terms that we can use in defining the majesty and the beauty of our building. I think now of some of Shakespeare's words at the conclusion of one of the scenes in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Methinks I'm seeing double, says one of them. As mysterious and strange as the experience was, they have come to know themselves and each other in ways that they did not know before. They had widened their understanding and their sense of self in a strange way. Their lives had been transfigured, says Hippolyta, like one of our students perhaps in a gallery. To me, and I think I might speak for the Smiths and the Carlisles and all of us who have, in one way or another, great or small, contributed to our museum. I think we should be grateful that we've had the opportunity to create a gift for the future. A future that I think, without exaggerating, is one of possibility and hope.
Jule Cowan Smith Museum of Fine Art,
where art changes lives.
Happy 10th anniversary.
Happy 10th.
Happy 10th.
Happy 10th, JCSM.
Here's to the next 10 and beyond.
reflecting on our rich history while charting a course for a bright tomorrow.